Hello students, and right now we're going to start in on lesson 26, the last lesson in your book. After this we go on to the second book, units 3 through 5. So your final lesson on this. So we're on page 370 in your book, and so they start out here as a solution to which inequalities. They give you an ordered pair, 5.43 comma 0, so that's right on the x-axis. Is the ordered pair a solution to all, some, or none of these inequalities? Be prepared to explain your reasoning. Okay. Well, is the x greater than 0? Yes, 5.43 is greater than 0, so that one is true. Y greater than 0? Well, since how this y is 0, we'd have to have this like greater than or equal to like this one over here, but it's not. This one's not going to be one that's going to produce a solution. Is x greater than or equal to 0? Then yeah, that is greater than or equal to 0, so that one will work as well. Y greater than or equal to 0? Yes, y is greater than or equal to 0. So of these, 1, 2, 3 they work, but this one doesn't. That one is out. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this next one. They give you this trail mix thing. Okay, so what they're doing is they're taking all these different choices that you could have for your trail mix, and they're breaking it down to calories per gram, protein per gram, sugar per gram, fat per gram, and fiber per gram. And these guys next to them, Tyler and Jada, are going to be deciding which combination they want with this. And you got to use a little bit of deductive reasoning on which one of these of the ingredients they're using. So I'm going to switch over here real quick to my camera, and this is what I've got. Okay, so if I looked at the numbers that are being processed over here, all right, you look over at these numbers that you have, 4.76, 6.67, 0.67, 0.07, etc., etc. What you find out is that one person is picking up chocolate pieces and shredded coconut, and they're basing it upon calories and sugar per gram. And then you go down here, another person has picked dried cherries and walnuts, and they're deciding based upon protein and fat per gram. All right, so that's what they're doing here. All right, so they're coming up here, and at the top of the page they say Tyler and Jada each designed their own custom trail mix using 2 of these ingredients. They wrote inequalities and created graphs to represent their constraints. All right, and so they got a bunch of equations here, and it's all kind of spelled out here. All right, and then they actually start asking questions down here. Use the inequalities and graphs to answer these questions about each trail mix. Okay, which 2 ingredients did they each choose? Okay, so Tyler chose chocolate and coconut. All right, so if you look at these numbers for chocolate and coconut, you'll notice that these numbers right here end up in his equations right here. All right, so that's how I knew that. Okay, and then what Jada chose walnuts and cherries, right? Because that way you see these numbers right here, they align themselves with these down here. Okay, so that's how I know which 2 ingredients each one of them chose. What variables did they choose? Okay, so that first question was asking the stuff over here. Next question was asking the stuff up here. So Tyler decided on calories per gram and sugar per gram. So he's worried about calories and sugar. And then Jada is worried about proteins and fats. Okay, proteins and fats. All right. So I'm going to go and update this just a little bit here. So grams, and it's proteins and fats, as opposed to calories and sugar. Okay. What does each constraint mean? Okay, so the constraint here is, so this top one is going to be for sugar. So they want less than 400 grams of sugar. All right. And so if you look, or excuse me, calories, 400 calories. All right. And then 30 grams of sugar. So that's what the 30 means right there. So calories and sugar. All right, and so they're trying to limit it to no more than, so they don't want just too many calories. And if you go to Jada says she wants at bare minimum 4 grams of protein, so she wants lots of protein in her mix, but not so much fat. So she wants most of her energy to come from protein and not so much from fats. All right, so she's doing that there. And so that's what's going on. All right, which graph represents each constraint? So we went through, and I just kind of like looked at this stuff and see what's going on here. And so this first one, number 1, all right, is this top line right here. There's number 1. There's equation number 1 for Tyler. And number 2 is right here. All right, there's number 2. Or the constraint, they're right there. That's the constraint. They want at least the sum of their 2 ingredients wants to add up to 50 grams. All right. So I'm going to have one constraint that goes right here and goes down. This next one right here is this line right here and up. So you have narrow hash marks and wide hash marks. Right? And then the third one is this little dashed line right here, and everything over is the shaded area. So the only place where all these are at in this little place right here. So that one is where Tyler's working inside of. It's his solutions that he could have to make his decisions. When it comes to Jada, okay, now you'll notice the scales are different here. All right, this is like 0 to 100, 0 to 100. This is 0 to about 60, 0 to about 60. So the scales are different, so don't misinterpret too much. This is fairly tight range for what she wants. All right, so again, you have that everything has to be below 50. All right, so you got to have 50 grams, or excuse me, more than 50 grams of the total to get together. And let's see, I've got number 1, which is the protein constraint, which is this little dashed line right here, all right there. And the one for the fats is right here, and that's line 3. That goes down, right? You'll notice that this is a 0 here, all right? So you have 0.61 W equals 15. So the W just equals a straight line, okay? And it's just straight up and down, which comes into like 20-something, right? 22 or so. So it's just straight up and down. So it's this little wedge right here, which is white hash marks, narrow hash marks, and shaded. And that's what we've got. This is our little solution set right there, okay? And so let's see. Number 5, name one possible combination of ingredients for the trail mix, okay? Well, so for this first one, for Tyler, I said it would be 20 of chocolate and 40 of coconut. So it's like a little dot right about boop there. That looks like it'll work for them. All right. And then for Jada, I said 20 of walnuts and 50 grams of cherries. So it's right about there. Okay. That's where I decided is. You'll get more than your 50 grams of food. You'll get more than 4 grams of protein, less than 15 grams of fat, less than 400 calories, and less than 30 grams of sugar. So, but that's how that cookie crumbled, so to speak. Okay. Now this next one, this is design your own trail mix. I'll let you do that in class if you want, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can have your constraints. You can have it with calories, protein, sugars, fat, or fiber. This is what you need to do. Pick 2 of one of these, all right? Just pick 2 of these. It doesn't matter which 2 you pick. Just pick 2, all right? And then you're going to decide how you want to base it on calories, sugar, fat. Now, what you might do is when you go through this, you might say, when you get all these constraints, and if you put in this 50 grams that they had before, you might find that there's no place where it overlaps, okay? And you're going to have to make some adjustments. So you might want to be a little bit careful as to what constraints you put on this thing, just so that you can get an actual answer out of it, all right? You might find a place that these simply don't overlap. Nothing that you can come up with, okay? With that combination of ingredients and nutrition stuff and total weight, total mass overlap. So I'm going to let you, if you so wish, you want to go and take some time to do this in class, by all means. That's all there is for that. The next up is the practice problems. So this is all that we have for the lesson 26. Thank you.